Hello and welcome to the Man of Legacy podcast. This is episode 16, and I'm your host, Coach Dennis from Man of Legacy. Here we talk about men, women, families, sex, masculinity, and life in general. Do me a favor if you haven't already and hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when podcasts and my weekly videos are released. Today I have as my guest, Rich Anderson. I want to thank you for being here, Rich.
Thanks for having me.
Up in the colder Northland of Canada. We're 18 degrees here this morning. What are you at?
Oh, I think it was, I don't know, there was snow. We had maybe 5 centimeters of snow, so minus 6.
Yeah, it's still too early for that. I've got less than 50 days till I'm in Mexico. So the cold is seeming colder to me. Yeah. So back in September, we've worked together in the past, and I reached out because I wanted to catch up. It had been a little while. My year's been a little topsy-turvy with the motorcycle accident, and you'd popped into my head and we had a conversation, and there's been some changes in your life. Tell me kind of what's happened in the last year. You ended up getting divorced. And then how did things progress from there?
Coming out of the divorce, I was 310 pounds. Right when the separation occurred, I got demoted at work. Had to sell the house, had to move back in with my parents, and had to continue working at the same organization in a much lower position, and I'd never worked in that position at this agency before. So it was rough. That was the start of it.
So I guess it's fair to say that you hit the bottom.
Yeah. Oh, and then I also hit the bottom with alcohol too. Like it was pretty awkward. It was pretty bad.
How were you drinking daily?
At that point, I was drinking weekly. So like just on kind of the weekends, I didn't have my son, and thought I had it under control.
That means you were probably having more than 1 or 2 beers.
Oh yeah, it was like, it was bad. It was like waking up and seeing an empty bottle of vodka, like, was normal. Was normal. It was bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if you stayed that way, that'd be a huge issue for a number of reasons. I love when somebody finally goes, this has got to change. What was your this has got to change moment?
My this has got to change moment was realizing that I was likely uninsurable at that point, and also realizing that if I died at that point, my ex, because I didn't have a will at that point, my ex would get all of my money, and that just drove me. That was it. That was pretty much. It wasn't that I was 300 pounds. It wasn't that I was an alcoholic. It was that. And then those things came into the fold eventually.
And what did you do to start implementing some changes? What was the first thing you latched onto?
The first thing I did was just go teetotal. So no alcohol, no smoking. I did that. And it was going to be all or nothing. So I went nothing with that. I did that. I started trying to lose weight, and I got a jump on weight loss with keto. So I started that just because it was helpful for my confidence. I could shed weight fairly quickly without having to feel like I was suffering in the eating department. And so I started there, and from that point onward, I kind of unknowingly just started incorporating small changes every once in a while, and they accumulated.
How do you start your day now?
Now I get up at 4 a.m. and it's not early anymore. That's just I've been doing it for almost a year, so it's
when you get up.
It's unbelievably normal. Yeah, it's normal. On a weekend, I might sleep in, and that's when I wake up at 5:30. So wake up. I eat something. I'm not keto anymore. you get to a certain point where you do that. I don't know how anyone can exercise without being fueled properly. So I eat a little bit. I work out 3 days a week. Right now I'm with a trainer. I'm going to scale that down to probably 1 soon. I work out. I come home. I make my breakfast. I track everything. I use MyFitnessPal. Play around with my macros, but I eat and then I make my lunch for the day. I've been making my lunch every day for a year now, and I think this has been the first year in my entire adult life where I've made, I've really planned my food out. Saves you a lot of money and you can hit your goals. So I make my lunch and then shower, all that stuff. Iron my clothes. That's something I do. And then I go to work, and I work. Sometimes I work 8 hours. Sometimes I work 12 hours, and then come home, and it's an early bedtime.
Well, when you're getting up at 4,
yeah,
it's an early bedtime. You hit the nail on the head. You're controlling what you're eating by not going out to lunch. And it is the planning. I talk to guys all the time on Saturday or Sunday, usually Sunday morning with a cup of coffee. I sit down and plan out the meals for the week, the shopping that goes with those meals, because that way I can control better what I'm eating. And there's no, oh, I'll just pick something up, which is just an excuse for lack of planning. And I've learned not to bring stuff into the house because there's one guy who will eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go back though. You said you start your day by getting up, having something to eat. Do you do something before that, right after you get up? Now, I'm not talking about the bathroom.
Yeah, right. Okay, usually I wake up, and then I need to turn the light on and lay there for about 5 minutes because it's still hard to get up at 4, even though my body's ready to go. I still need 5 minutes to check the paper. So it takes me, and I tell myself, I've been telling myself lately, the days that it's harder to get up are the days that count. And that helps me get through it.
Now, what do you do with your bed?
Oh, I make my bed every day, and I started doing that. That was one of the first things I did. I think when I stopped drinking alcohol, I started making my bed every day. I'd read the book. I think it's called Make Your Bed, maybe. I'm not sure.
Was it that commander who did the speech and had the book? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that speech about making your bed every day.
Yeah, that's how implementing small changes started with me. I started making my bed. I can't go a day now where I don't make my bed. And it doesn't take me as long. It seems odd to say when I started. It was a big thing. It felt like a big commitment, but now it doesn't. It's like 30 seconds, and I can't. The thought of having an unmade bed now, it makes me uncomfortable. Not in a bad way, but I make it simple.
I love that. My bed right now is made. I like to keep a clean house. Back when I was dating, I'd have a lot of women go, "Your house is really clean." I'm like, I don't want to live in a pigsty, and having the bed made, also it's orderly when you come back to your, whenever you're in the room. I don't know, for some reason that always kind of resonated with me. Being in the military, having to make your bed also, I think, is where my habit started with that. I can't get up and leave my bed unmade either. So you started with making the bed. You cut out alcohol and smoking cold turkey. What came next?
Yeah, changed my diet. So I had some small changes to my diet because I really wanted to lose weight. And I think a month after that, I started to go to the gym on my own. And then a couple weeks after that, I got a personal trainer, and really got into the whole fitness scene. And I remember, having friends saying, "Well, why are you paying a personal trainer? You can look those moves up for free." And to them, I pointed them to, there's a video on YouTube of Dana White, because he had a big transformation recently, and he was saying, that something like the smartest thing I've ever done is gotten a personal trainer.
it's one of the reasons I like CrossFit. You know, you have a coach there, a personal trainer, basically making sure your technique is correct. Because if your technique is wrong, you're going to injure yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And there's a lot of little things that the trainers know that we don't. And you can watch a video on how to do this lift or that. And I will tell you, I just started back to CrossFit. And brutal, but good. I'm loving it. Not maybe during the workout. And I have always struggled on squats to get super low. And at my previous box, you know, I could only get as low as I could get. They were like, okay, you're not going to do this. They scaled my routine and they're like, all they did was have me focus on technique. I'm getting lower at 57 than I did at 51 or 53 or whatever, you know. It's like, holy cow, because I did it for 4 years. And so having a coach, fitness coach or whatever, is obviously, I'm a little biased, but it's invaluable because you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. I think, you know, I started working with you. You're my first coach. And now I have, you know, on a weekly basis, I see 2 coaches. So I have like a swim coach and a lifting coach. And I think it's much more than just the form. So my lifting coach, you know, she told me, she kind of knows how to motivate you and to help you reach your goals. So my cardio was lacking. She was saying, hey, you know, maybe you'd like to do a race. Maybe you should sign up for a race. And so I signed up for the race because you kind of feel cool having a goal like that, a bigger goal, and it then it motivates your cardio to go up. And she also told me, you know, your diet is good, but you need a cheat day once a week, one day a week where you're not counting your calories, you're eating whatever you want, whenever you want. And I've done that for about a year now, and I've lost over 100 pounds. So that's my day to day. So I usually like to kind of tell my buddies how many fast food joints I've hit in a day. I think the most I've ever gotten it up to is about 4 or 5 because I eat a lot. So
you're burning a lot of calories too. And that food is designed to make you want more too. You know?
Yeah. And you know, I can be on point for 6 out of 7 days. So if I have that one day where I don't have any rules around my diet, then I'm good to go for the next 6 days. I'm gonna, and I've made enough gains that I know that works for me.
Nice. So what was your first race?
I did, it was called the Cannonball Crush. And so it was around a historical fort. And it was an obstacle course, 5K run. And I did it with my dad, who's about 70. It's a ton of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, I did that. And then I just kept going. So I hit another road race and that was fun. And I felt good. And then I did it. Well, my lift coach has been telling me to try an Ironman like ever since day one. She didn't think there was any limitation on doing that. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that. So she said, we'll do a duathlon. So I did it was a bike run, was a 4K run into a 30K bike into a 7K run, which was pretty big for me. And it was pretty hot that day. And I did that and I loved it. That was just a ton of fun. So then I signed up for another duathlon and then I was able to get another duathlon in. So I did 3 in August. And that was really fun. I ended up doing a big bike challenge over the summer. So from June to August, I did 1,500K on my bike. And then I signed up for Ironman in June this year, coming up.
Nice. So, and then you've done 1 triathlon so far?
I haven't done any triathlons.
You haven't done any?
No.
So you're going to start with a half.
Going to start with the half Ironman. I swim 3 times a week. I've been swimming with a coach and a triathlon training group. And I've been swimming with them 3 times a week. So I feel like just get used to the open water part.
So I'm going to lovingly tell you you're nuts.
Yeah.
Because I warn people, you do those sprint triathlons, they're addictive.
Yeah.
And I've done 8 or more halves. And as long as you see, I never worked with a swim coach until right before my first Ironman. I had done dozens and dozens of shorter ones, and I was always a lousy swimmer. You know, that's what most people, there's just this small group that loves the swim. And, but I realized, I'm like, okay, I'm 2 months before the Ironman. I'm like, I'm going to drown. It's just too far. And I got with the coach, and my strokes, you'll appreciate this. I was like 34 strokes to cross the pool. And working with him pretty quickly, I was like 19, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, same amount of effort, but efficiency. Swimming is all about the efficiency. And the only advice I give anyone is, if you can get a shorter one in, you'll get kicked, swam up for me, because I'm a slow swimmer, kicked, elbowed, swam, literally had somebody swim over me on a race once, who started behind. It's long as you understand, hey, it's all fine. I was that guy. If it was, the course was turning to the right, I was always back left, because I'm like, I know I'm a slow swimmer and I don't want to get run over. And
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the front, because that's where, I don't belong there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
You're going to have a blast, because I know I never, like I said, worked with, for my halves, never worked with a swim coach, wasn't swimming 3 times a week with a group. It was, what's the minimum I need to do? I didn't approach it the way you are. You're approaching it much better mindset. And that's what it sounds like has been the biggest catalyst for you. All of your changes is mindset.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Right. So you got demoted at work.
Yes.
All right. Into a job you'd never done.
Into a job I used to supervise.
Yeah. Why did you
I had
not
done
quit?
it. I had done it at other organizations, but not the one
Okay.
I was with.
A lot of guys would have quit. Why didn't you quit?
I think at the time I didn't want to, at the time I was able to appreciate that it still was a job, it still paid, still had benefits, still had paid time off. And I don't think I wanted to add any more challenge to the situation I was already in. And so I just decided to disassociate from my pride, and I just came in, did the job, and went home and focused on what I was doing in an entire day, opposed to what I was doing from 9 to 5.
Nice. Well, a lot of guys let their ego get in the way. And from our conversation, it's probably appropriate when it happened. I assume you kept a positive mindset and just worked on doing the job and doing it right when you were there.
Yeah.
And where are you now?
In September, the director who had demoted me called me into her office, and I was like, oh God, I was like, this is it. They're gonna fire me. This is the moment. And then she asked me if I would apply for my old position again. And she was quite motivated to have me back. So that's what I did. So now I'm back where I was before, and I'm 100 pounds lighter.
Are you doing a better job with the people below you?
Yes. It was definitely had its benefits doing that, because now I'm their supervisor. I believe they respect me more because I put in the time doing the job they were doing.
And you didn't let your ego cause you to shoot yourself in the foot. How long have you been where you're at?
I had done that for I'd done that for over a year. I was demoted for over a year.
But total, how long have you been with the organization you're at now?
This one, 5 years now, and I've been in the field for 10.
Okay. Yeah. I see it often. People get upset with work. There's a setback, or they don't get a promotion, and it's like, I'm going to quit, instead of going and looking inside and going, okay, how did I contribute to this, or what can I do better? And you were understanding there's a lot of other change going on. You kind of didn't need to add more stress and more issues to it. I love that you got promoted back to your position. I can't think that that is going to be the norm for most. Most are going to get butthurt, let their ego cause them to either be a bad employee instead of doing the job and doing it well, or they're going to quit with or without a backup plan. So kudos to you for that. I'm just going to give you the warning I give everyone too. I didn't say it earlier. Triathlons are addictive. Because if you're going to do a half, are you signed up for a whole or a half?
Half.
Okay. You're going to want to do more after you do that. Trust me.
100%. Oh yeah.
And look at how healthy your lifestyle is as you train for it. And as someone who's done 2 Ironmen, matter of fact, that red ribbon to the right of the white cup is that's my Ironman medal there. I have that in the posters from 02 and 03 in my garage.
Nice.
Because it took a lot of work to cross that finish line. And as you've learned with the other races, most of the work, while your prep is all physical, it's mindset.
Yeah.
I was doing the math because there's cutoffs. And what a lot of people don't understand, you have so long to finish the swim. You have so long to finish the bike, or they pull you from the course. And as a slow swimmer, I was like, okay, I knew my cutoffs, got done, got on the bike. My bike motor is not very good either. I was a runner back then. I wasn't lifting like I'd been doing for the last decade or so. And so I knew my cutoff numbers. I knew what speed I needed to maintain, and it was, for me, it was all upstairs because the physical, I was like, I know I can do it. Even though I hadn't gone 16 hours, I was a 16:04 and a 16:08 or 12, something like that. But believe me, I was well aware of where the cutoff was. And do you have any goals besides finish for the first one?
No, that's it.
Good.
And just want to finish the first one. The cutoff's 8. Cut for the half. I think it's 8 hours. I believe.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, and I know I'm upping my run. For me, it's the run. It's the hardest part. So I'm up in the run training, and I know I'll be battling. The wanting to quit. When I did the first duathlon, on the run, on the last leg, which was the 7K run, and my mind was mostly, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not quitting. I will stagger to the finish line and slide across on my nipples. I'm not gonna quit,
Well, and you've done the bulk of it. You could, if you're going to be a far faster swimmer than I ever was. I can already tell. I don't know what kind of speed you keep on a bike, but if you have decent biking skills, you literally could almost walk the half marathon and finish in time.
Yeah.
And so you're right. It is going to be a mindset thing. I watched on my first Ironman, they removed a guy from the course with less than 5 miles to go because he got his electrolytes out of balance. I've seen stories where people have been taken to the hospital and they've gone back after they got pumped full of fluids to where they were removed from the course to finish. It's once you do all that training, it's fascinating. You're going to have no problem mindset wise because you're going to be like, all right, not quit. Then you're going to hit the halfway point. You're home.
Yeah, and I mean the last duathlon I did this past summer, but the second lot I did 3. So the middle one, halfway through it, I had a mindset change where I kind of went from survival, hating it mode to I've been training for this. I'm gonna enjoy this. This is fun. And then the last one of the summer I did, I went into it with that mindset. So even though I find running, like if you have to run for an hour, it's an hour of just death. I just hate it. But the whole time my mindset was, well, I'm training for, I'm gonna enjoy this. This is the last one of the summer. I'm gonna enjoy every minute of it, even though I'm dying.
I love it. And when is the race you're doing again?
June 25th at Mont Tremblant in Quebec.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. How do you think the work you did when you were going through your relationship challenges helped you with this transformation? Well, I'm just kind of wondering, I get where you hit bottom and decide to make changes, but you were in a pretty good mental state when we talked previous.
Yeah, I think when I was working with you the first time, the time that I had with you during the week was relief from my situation, and it gave me a lot of hope. And so within that, I found it quite excited for the future, right? And so just absorbing a lot of what we would talk about, and just listening to a lot of Dating Essentials for Men is a big one for me. Regardless of whether or not you're in a point where you want to date, I think it's talk about making the cake and working on the ingredients. And so during that time, I was kind of hopeful and taking it all in, and overwhelmed because there's quite a lot to do. And so I don't know what the catalyst for the change was, but last August something clicked where I said, I'm going to start working on some big things, but some small things too.
Yeah. And like I said, you didn't go the pity party route. You went I'm going to fix this. I'm going to improve my situation, myself, the whole 9 yards. And again, victim or victor, you chose to be the hero of your story instead of doing woe is me.
Yeah. And I think that's still something that I find myself deciding every day. That's still something that if you decide you're going to be the victor, it's not that you're going to have that mindset from that point on. You're still going to remind yourself it's going to be hard either way, so I can pick my heart, right?
Yes, and that's we talked to a lot of men. It's not a destination; it's a journey, and we have to continually be improving. We have to continually be working, because you don't arrive and you're done. I know I used to look at, I'm going to retire at this age, and I'm going to, I'm at the point now. I originally was like, oh, retire in my 60s. I'm planning on going through about 75 because I can, and I love what I do. I don't consider it work anymore, and that's the thing. And it brings me joy to help other men.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have this when I went through the struggles. Mine was a little different in that I started doing triathlons for years, and then decided to do the Ironman when my ex gave me the coaching sessions as a gift, and I had upgraded bike, and I was like, this is the time to do it. And then she didn't come to the Ironman. I was like, school's starting, blah, blah, blah. Didn't come to either of them. I had a buddy come to both of them with me. But I was, I'm able to look back and go, well, I already knew things were, on a downward trend. And about a year later is when, she asked for a divorce. So she's in that 2-year detaching period.
Right.
But I just remember, I look back now and I'm like, Ironman's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Well, you told me that, and I was thinking, oh, who cares? She wasn't there. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, well, and I didn't, but
Yeah,
in
good.
retrospect, I'm like, that was a warning sign, I
Oh, yeah.
missed,
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
Right.
I didn't give that, all I can tell you what I remember about the first one, because it finished down, the run finished and ended on this downslope. So you had to go up the first mile, which was brutal, but coming down was downhill. 1604, 1608, whatever it was. Such joy. They had the massage therapist there, got a little bit of a massage, and I went to grab a bite to eat. They were out of food. Yeah, it's midnight or it's
Yeah.
12:30, but I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm one of the 200+ pound guys. Like, the next year, because it was the same course, there's an aid station right at the top of the hill, and the guy's like, what do you want? I'm like, D-Fizz Coke, and do you have any pizza left? Because they delivered it to the volunteers. I said, they ran out of food last year. He's like, I do. He gave me a slice of pizza, D-Fizz Coke, and I enjoyed like a minute of walking, enjoying that, and then powered on down to finish. But it was funny because I understood. I'm like, okay, because there's nothing open at 2 a.m. when you're looking for restaurants where we were at, and it was kind of funny. But like I said, I had a buddy there waiting for me, cheering me on, and that was awesome. And yeah, I think triathlon has really helped my mindset over the years too, because there are different aspects of the race. It is all mental.
Yeah.
As you found out.
I think big change for me in mindset. And I started to become more aware that I'd had this change when I saw this picture of it. But it was a staircase. It had Monday at the bottom and Sunday at the top, and people walking up and sliding down. And that was their mindset. And I think when I was drinking and when I was not great, and for years of my life was on that staircase where, all week you're slugging through the week trying to climb up to the top. You get to the top, it's a quick slide down to the bottom, and you're on this horrible staircase. And when I saw that, it became clear to me that I'm off that. I think it's from gratefulness, the power of gratefulness, right? So every day I'm grateful that I'm pumped to go to the gym, pumped to make my lunch, pumped to come into work. Talk about the opposite of destination happiness, and just happy as a way of traveling. And that became clear to me that mindset had switched. And so I don't have that. And now every day is just a day, so like the weekend for me, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It's great. So I don't have to go to work, but it's just another day. I got other things I'm going to do. And it really makes Sundays a lot different too, because you're not dreading Monday. Now you're like, okay, I need to prep for Monday. I need to prep for Tuesday. And so that was a big mind shift switch for me. And I think that is all part of the exercising, but mostly comes down to gratitude.
Gratitude and having a gratitude practice is crucial in life. A lot of people overlook it. We use the Oak Journal, a lot of us, and the first thing it does, and what I do with my journaling every day is, what are you grateful for? And we are blessed in so many ways, and you hit the nail on the head. You're happy for Monday and Tuesday. And what people often misinterpret or get wrong is they don't realize that happiness is our nature. If you look at a 3-month-old kid, they're giggly happy, 3 years old, giggly happy, through about 6 until society or the parents start dimming that light. But we are happy by nature. And when we're not present and we're not grateful for all the gifts is when we suffer. And once we stop looking behind or looking ahead, because the people on that staircase you talked about, all they're looking at is, oh man, once Sunday's over, I got to go back to it. And they're not enjoying and appreciating the moment, which is why they're suffering, you know. I always looked at it with vacations. I've known a lot of people who dread that last day of vacation because now I got to go back to work. And I'm like, well, you need to build a life that you love all aspects of it. You know, I joked, you know, I talked earlier, I'm looking forward to going to Mexico for 6 weeks. I will be thrilled to return home after that. I don't ever dread coming home anymore. You know, for me, it's just what's next and enjoying whatever is. I'm grateful to have the life that I have, but I've also been very intentional in building it.
Yeah, and coming home.
What would you say to anyone watching this who's struggling right now? Huh?
Oh, I was just gonna say, coming home I find it exciting now because now it's an opportunity to set some new goals, and that's a fun part of fun part of it, you know, that cycle. But anyone watching this right now, you know, I think you need to decide, you know, where you want to be in a year, where you want to be in 10 years, where you want to be in 20 years, and commit to a habit of trying some small changes in your day. Deciding if you're going to be the victim or the victor, and you know, reflect on what you have that is good, and just choose to be happy. It's not a destination.
It really is a choice, and again, it's a choice, and it's our nature. So we can deny what we're supposed to be, and there are some people who have some horrible situations and bad things happen, but you get to choose your reaction. But the reality is, when you look at it from a global perspective, the problems we have, even people with tons of problems have sometimes 2 cars. We all have electricity, running water. I mean, we have so much, you know. Less TV, more living is one of the things. I think a lot of us spend too much time either on looking at the computer, the phone, or on TV. I've had somebody in my life who used to say, well, I don't have time to exercise because of my work schedule, but they watch 3 hours of TV a night on average.
Right.
I was like, I don't necessarily agree with that statement. And I love starting with, like, right now, I'm going to go to the noon CrossFit session. I go to the 9 o'clock. I get up, I do my journaling, I do some other work. I go to CrossFit, I come back, and that's when I normally start my coaching sessions. But with our scheduling of this, I was like, all right, how am I going to do that? I'm like, that's right, they've got a noon one. Okay, I like to start my day off with the workout. You know, if I'm not doing CrossFit, the gym is 0.7 of a mile away, my community center. And when it's warm, throw on my clothes and I just go and work out. And now I've been driving over there because today it's 18 degrees right now. But we've had a cold snap, but it's become the word, there's no thinking about it. I get up, get dressed, lace them up. You know, I don't even think about making the bed. It's just, I do it, whether I'm here by myself or my girlfriend's staying over. And it's funny too, because she's not big on folding clothes. And the power of having a positive habit, she folds clothes when we do laundry now. Maybe not always hers, but, you know, and I do the cooking, she does the cleaning. We've got a nice little system. She's moving in a couple of weeks. I'm excited and looking forward to that. But I've realized we both tend to feed off of each other's positive habits. And I'm sure if we had a lot of negative habits, we'd feed off of those too. But that's the thing, is start your day off the right way. You know, small, guys, make your beds. right there is a win to start the day. And how many days a week are you working out?
Well, yeah, too many. Probably, I lift 3 to 4. I swim 3. So I basically every day of the week. I don't really have a rest day. I'm definitely overtraining, but where my training coach said, well, overtraining, is not good. But also, if you're not training enough and it's not good for your mental health, then that's not good, right? So if you're doing something or doing a couple of things every day and you're finding it's too much, scale it back. But if you scale back and find it's not meeting your needs, then go back to what's meeting your needs. So for me, so it's every day, every day.
Yeah. Well, and what you'll find is there'll come a point you might take 3 or 4 days off because you're kind of feeling wiped out. And when I was doing marathons, ran into this. I had some of the people we were running with, they wouldn't take any, no, I can't do it. And I, due to work, was sometimes forced to be gone for, and I learned this way back when I was a big racquetball player playing 4 times a week. And then I had work send me away for a week or two for training. And so I couldn't play racquetball. I'd come back, I felt like I had a bionic arm. And then when I was marathoning, same thing. I would take a week off from running and I would feel amazing because it's death of a thousand cuts. If you get to the point where you're feeling wiped out all the time, 2 or 3 days off, you'd probably be like a brand new bionic man.
Yeah, you need to listen to your body for sure.
Yeah.
That's my number one.
Yeah. And it matters when you're younger or as you get older, because I have, my fastest marathon, I did the least amount of running leading up in the 2 months leading up to it. I did the shortest and least amount of long runs because I'd been kind of in a routine and I just didn't have the time and didn't have the desire to go long on training runs. And then I had a good running day on the day of a marathon. But part of it was I had given my body I'd backed off a little bit leading up to it so that the tank was full on race day. All right. So guys, 100-pound weight loss. How tall are you?
I'm 5'9".
5'9". What do you weigh now?
Well, I stopped checking, but
Yeah.
I had it down to 212, but I think I've gained some. I'm hoping it's mostly muscle. I think I'm about 220 right now.
So anyone watching this, you saw the pictures at the beginning. What a transformation. And again, it's not about the numbers because you're right. Muscle weighs more than fat. It's, what kind of weights can you, do you deadlift much?
Yes, of course.
What's your personal, where are you at on a max 1 rep?
That's kind of the hard thing. I do hams and quads with my trainer, so she's writing down all the weights. So I wasn't lifting heavy, and then I was really cardio focused and weight loss focused. Then I had COVID, which just made me lost all my energy. So coming back from that, I was looking at a new situation, and I decided I was going to take some time to focus on lifting heavy. So I think I'm not deadlifting a ton. I think I'm, the 45-pound barbell. I think I'm a plate. I might be, on each side of 45 and a 35. I'm almost at 2 plates. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so it's not a ton.
When you first started, what was killing you to deadlift?
Oh, well, probably just the Olympic bar would probably, because I had such a big gut that getting down there would be hard to breathe.
I never thought about that. Yeah. Well, and I got to admit, you've inspired me. Right now I'm doing carnivore.
Nice.
And until Mexico, then there'll be some tacos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when I come back from Mexico, my plan is to go back to carnivore. I've got a half a cow in the freezer, half a hog. And then when the farmer's market starts up, I'll go back to normal, with vegetables. Because I've got a great farm, some great farmers I've got a farm share with. But it's kind of like keto. It lets you get the weight off. I'm trying to get my number down for a variety of reasons. And after the motorcycle crash and being unable to exercise for 8 weeks, you want to talk about gratitude, being able to work out again. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful for my physical health after crashing the motorcycle and thinking I was going to need surgery on my shoulder and not. And, I'm like, okay, I put a bunch of weight on. Inactivity will do that. Might have been some pity eating in there the first couple of weeks too. Pretty sure the first 2 weeks or so I put on about 10 pounds. And now I've got, cut about 20 pounds off since then. And I want to get another 20 off, and might be thinking about one more final race for myself. So
Awesome.
what's your plan for, is it next year to the Ironman? Not this coming 23, but the one after?
Yeah, I want to do the full, probably the 2024.
Okay. Once you register, I want you to send me an email on that. And if I have any ability to, I want to be there when you cross the finish line.
Awesome. That sounds good. Yeah, registering itself is fun because then you're committed to it.
It is, and it's not cheap.
Scary. No, it's not.
It is a commitment. When I was doing all these, it used to be the short races were $45, then they became 50. I think it was the half Ironmans were a little bit more, but these are $600-700 entry fees for full, and it is a commitment. It's not oh yeah, I think I'll do this. You've got to train and plan it out, and I have no doubt you'll crush the half Ironman next year. And then once you've got that under your belt, you'll be like, oh, I can do the Ironman. It's just extrapolating it out, and you're strong, you're motivated, and you're got the right mindset. Hey, I want to tell you, thank you for joining me, Rich. Really appreciate you sharing your story. I love the transformation. I know you feel tons better, and I think this is going to help a lot of guys. And so thank you.
Thanks for having me. Nice to talk to you.